Mangwanani Fukenjani Klekwa Setitanona Likaleli Wa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show, bringing you everything you need to know happening on the African continent and beyond. It is Friday, the 24th of November, and you're joined by Ashwin Berry and Glenora Shipura. How are you, Glenn?
I'm very good. I'm expecting a thank you from you.
Thank you.
Yes. Remember how I told you I'm summoning the rain?
Okay, good
yesterday?
call, good
what
call.
happened yesterday?
Definitely. But you can see I'm engaged. I've learned that you must just go with the instruction first before you understand why.
Oh,
you see now, that's what I'm learning.
You're going to make a good husband.
Thank you. Did you hear that, my lady?
Let's take a look at what you can expect in today's broadcast. SA Parliament suspends Malema and other MPs for a month. Niger government asks court to force ECOWAS to lift coup sanctions, and AI use in Mozambique jail spawns new hope in TB fight. We'll also be crossing over to Zambia, speaking to Mike Sichula, who'll be filling us in on the latest news on the ground there. Do stay tuned for these and more on Africa Good Morning.
It's the season for savings at Vurman Brock. Get an Ola-rich and creamy ice cream tub for $59.99. 500-gram Rama Original Margarine for $24.99. 2-liter Rietfontein juice or sensation for $37.99. 5 kg Rice King rice for just $89.99. And Huggies Jumbo Packs for only $209.99. See all our specials online at www.vurmanbrock.com. We care.
Getting into our top stories, South Africa opposition leader Julius Malema and 5 other MPs from his Economic Freedom Fighters Party were on Wednesday punished with a 1-month suspension without pay from Parliament. The Parliament's Powers and Privileges Committee found them guilty of contempt of Parliament for storming the stage during President Cyril Ramaphosa's State of the Nation address at Cape Town City Hall in February. The Speaker then suspended proceedings as security removed Malema and the other MPs from the hall. The committee added that each member must also make an apology in person in the House to the President, the Speaker, and the people of South Africa for disrupting the President's address and putting the country in a bad light. That is as hopeful a statement as you can get. Asking the EFF to apologize.
I'm actually interested in how this story develops.
I think you will sooner see Father Christmas in the flesh.
Well, moving on to our next story, Niger's military government on Tuesday asked West Africa's regional court to order the lifting of sanctions imposed on the country by its neighbors following a July coup that deposed elected President Mohamed Bazoum. There is no sector of the Nigerian society that has not been affected by these sanctions. Yonkele Yaye, one of the government lawyers, argued at the hearing in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. Now, after a group of soldiers calling itself the National Council for the Safeguard of the Homeland toppled Bazoum, a raft of economic sanctions were imposed by the Economic Community of West African States. Other countries, including the United States, that had provided aid for health, security, and infrastructure needs, also suspended their support. Now, until the coup, aid accounted for almost half of Niger's annual budget. Niger's neighbors also closed their borders to the country, and more than 70% of its electricity supplied by Nigeria was cut off.
Now, when AI comes to mind, some people most recently would think about the debacle with the OpenAI CEO, but particularly the first thing that comes to your mind is ChatGPT, or perhaps, you know, the cool pictures we post on Instagram. But AI is seemingly more useful than most people have actually allowed themselves to fathom. A program using artificial intelligence to test inmates in a high-security Mozambican jail for tuberculosis has spawned a hope that the new tech can help eradicate the disease. Teeming prisons are a hotbed of TB, the world's second deadliest communicable disease after COVID, according to the World Health Organization. Mozambique, a country of 32 million people, recorded about 120,000 infections last year. Now, almost 1 in 4 infections last year occurred in Africa in the sprawling courtyard of the maximum security jail. Now, in Mozambican capital Maputo, an inmate in an orange t-shirt stood before a tripod with a wide white tablet. Behind him, a doctor scoured a two-piece portable X-ray machine connected to an AI program that has been hailed as a breakthrough in the fight against tuberculosis.
Now, in our next story, after nearly 2 decades in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the United Nations Stabilization Mission in Congo has signed a deal to withdraw its 15,000 peacekeepers. Now, the Congolese Foreign Minister Christopher Lutundula and MONUSCO's head signed the agreements on Tuesday. Speaking on national television, Lutundula said the deal marked the end of a collaboration which has proved its limits in a context of permanent war without the longed-for peace being restored to Eastern Congo. Now, Eastern Congo is in the grip of a decades-long conflict fought by dozens of armed groups, some backed by DRC's neighbors. With presidential and parliamentary elections coming up on December 20th, the conflict has taken center stage.
Now, on Monday, recorded the highest hot day and hot night records of November as an extreme heat wave cut across South Africa, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and Malawi. The heat wave is expected to extend to Namibia, Botswana, Madagascar, and Tanzania before the weekend, according to statistics and forecasts released by extreme temperatures around the world. A weather monitor. On Monday night, Punda Maria in South Africa was 27.2 degrees Celsius, followed by Friday at 18.1 degrees Celsius. Now, South African records reached 43 degrees Celsius during the day, a regional high in the SADC bloc. Intense heat waves in Southern Africa with temperatures reaching 43 in South Africa, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, as well as Malawi. The heat will last most of the week, intensifying and further spreading to Namibia, Botswana, Madagascar, and Tanzania. I feel like I thanked you too early for the rain.
Yeah, I think I need to bring out my blue clothes.
Yeah, now we know there's
rain.
a heat wave. We need to keep the rain here. But thank you for staying with Africa Good Morning. That's more of a reason to make sure that you check out our weather predictions, which are going to be after our conversation with Mike Situla after the break.
It's the Premier League, all on DSTV. All the goals, clashes, and moments. All of Rashford, Salah, and Saka.
Their start is getting better and better and better.
All in HD. Available on all these bouquets to choose from. To watch on all these devices. Get DSTV with an HD decoder, free installation, plus 1 month compact for 1,549 Namibian dollars. It's the Premier League, all on DSTV.
All right, now 4 Zambians have been arrested in connection with the human trafficking syndicate involving 16 Ethiopians. And Mike Situla is here to give us that story and more. Good morning, Mike.
Africa, good morning.
Please continue.
Yes, indeed, Ashwin. The Immigration Department arrested the quartet during an operation which began as a routine patrol around Lusaka's Roma, which is not a so densely populated residential area, and Ngwerere area, which is a new coming up settlement area. This operation was conducted a few days ago. Operation, the department, in partnership with the police, arrested 16, 4 Zambians who were found with 16 Ethiopian nationals. So issues of trafficking, human trafficking in Zambia, Zambia has become one of the routes that these traffickers are using to take these people into South Africa. So they normally pass through Malawi and some areas between Zambia and Tanzania. So this arrest by the Department of Immigration is they are hoping that they are going to they are now narrowing down the syndicate and probably arrest the ringleaders in this stage of human trafficking. You may recall that on Africa Good Morning, we did report the discovery of over a dozen bodies by the department that were dumped in an area after a failed human trafficking deal.
Well, we do hope that the ringleaders are caught. Now, moving on to your next story, in some rather disturbing news, police in Lusaka are looking for a pastor who is accused of raping a woman who sought prayers following several miscarriages. Can you get into this?
quite a sad and embarrassing story. And the police launched a manhunt yesterday, and during the course of yesterday, the same pastor in the picture was arrested, and a warn and caution statement was recorded from him. So the background is that the woman who is a member of his church is actually a church in Mateo, which following across Lusaka district. So one of the congregants, a lady, did sought for his prayers and arranged that he should go to his home he should visit her at her place because she's also married. Then when he went to this house, he reached with one of his members of the church. One of the members of the church sat in the living room. Then when he wanted to pray for all the rooms in the house, and it is upon that he is reported to have forced himself on the lady. And when the husband came, he found the other gentleman in the living room. And when he went straight to the bedroom, he said he found the pastor in the act with his wife. And as he tried to go and lock the gate so that he could do whatever he wanted to do, the pastor bolted, leaving his clothes, his vehicle, and that's when police have since arrested him. And the woman is saying that the pastor was actually raping her, and they did not have an agreement that he should come into his house and did what he did.
May justice be fully served. Over 1 million women have been screened for cervical cancer at least once in their lifetime. Please tell us more on this statistic.
Yeah, this is a statistics that has been provided by the Ministry of Health during this year's International Day observing cervical cancer screening. So according to the Ministry of Health, this presents not so good in terms of women going back to have themselves checked against cancer in the country's population of over 20 million Zambians. So they are hoping that these statistics could double in order to reduce late diagnosis or discovery of cervical cancer, which can be fatal. So they are calling on members of the public to ensure if they know that they are at risk of contracting this disease or having this disease, they get to the medical authorities as quickly as possible to avoid late treatment that may not be actualized or may not be attained. But the government is also happy that more women are going back to have themselves checked regarding this disease.
Well, getting into your last story in sports, the Chipolopolo boys have apologized to the nation for their defeat against Niger. Can you get into this?
Yes, Zambia, when Zambia played Niger on Tuesday, expectations were high across the country on the backdrop of Zambia beating Congo Brazzaville 4 goals to 2 on the Copper Belt. But when they went to Niger, the tables to Morocco, actually the tables changed. The team looked fatigued. The system would not work as the coach thought it would work. And most of the players, senior players in the team, have posted on their social media pages calling on Zambians to forgive them, and also that promising that they are going to do better going forward. So most Zambians have reacted differently. Some of them have said, have called on the coach not to listen to soccer fans who demand for certain players to start, but he should stick to his game plan. Because what happened in Morocco was that some of the players that fans were calling to be starters did start in that game, but the performance of the team was below their expectations.
Too many cooks spoil the broth. However, Mike, as I told you, I'll be paying Lobola to Zambia in a week, so I have no bad words for Chipolopolo. You're doing fine, guys. All forgiveness flowing from my end. Thank you, Mike, for bringing us the news stories.
Thank you very much. Africa, good morning. Do have a blessed and enjoyable weekend.
We certainly hope to have a blessed and enjoyable weekend. However, the weather is going to have a lot to do with that. Let's have a look at the predictions.
Neopaints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neopaints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neopaints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
In economic news, Mali's military government said it has signed an agreement with Russia to build a gold refinery in the capital Bamako, one of a slew of deals between the two countries as Russia seeks to extend its regional influence. The accord, a non-binding memorandum of understanding, involves building 200 tons per year refinery, Minister Aloseni Sano said in an interview on state television broadcast late on Tuesday. The memorandum is valid for 4 years, he said, without giving a timeline for construction. If built, it would be West African country's largest gold refinery.
In our next story, Nigeria's Senate passed the medium-term expenditure framework for 2024 to 2026 on Wednesday, setting out the government's fiscal plan for the next 3 years. Now, lawmakers in the House of Representatives, the lower term of parliament, had passed the framework on Tuesday.
All right, those have been our economic news stories. We're going to take a short break and then Ari Hohad shows up with the sport.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobile.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with tennis news first. It's tennis news from the Davis Cup. It's the men's tennis team event, and it's an event that's 123 years old, rich in tradition, and it's the team that played in the final in 2022, Australia, that's through to the semi-finals. They had to come back from one game to love down. That was against the Czech Republic. But in the end, it was Alex de Minaur. He is number 12 in the world. He won his singles game for Australia and to make it 1-1. And then it was Matthew Edman and Max Purcell. They won the doubles against Leheshka and Adam Pelcek. That score was 6-4 and 7-5 for Australia to go through by 2 games to 1, and they will play in the semi-final against Finland. It is in the doubles. It was Matthew Edman and Max Purcell that performed well. They a good combination together. They actually won the 2022 Wimbledon tennis tournament. Other quarterfinals are still to be played. Is England that will play against Serbia, and it is England that will play without Andy Murray, that is injured, and then it will also be Italy that will play against the Netherlands. The final of this event, the Davis Cup for men, will be played on Sunday. It's being played in Malaga in Spain. Continuing international sports news with cricket news, it is the World Cup 50-over World Cup cricket that's just concluded with Australia winning their 6th title against India. But India and Australia still continuing to play cricket now. It's a tight schedule. Just a few days after the conclusion of the World Cup, they play a T20 5-day series that will start on Thursday. Many of the players have not gone back to Australia, so some of the core batsmen that stayed behind will be Travis Head, also Steve Smith and Matthew Wade. Matthew Wade will be the captain. But Australia will be without many of their seam bowlers or their best bowlers. Their 3 best seam bowlers went home to Australia. Those are Pat Cummins, also Mitchell Starc and Josh Hazlewood. They're not going to play in the 5-day T20 or the 5 series T20 games against India. And to conclude today's international sports news, it is soccer news. It is news from the Euro 24 qualifying, and it is Wales that didn't qualify directly for Euro 24, but they still have a way to get into the final. There's 4 teams left in the playoffs now. They will play 2 semi-finals, and then the winner of those 2 semi-finals will play for a place in Euro 24 in Germany. Wales will play Finland. That is on the 21st of March, and they will play the winners of the game between Poland and Estonia. Wales also had a similar route in the 2022 World Cup that was played in Qatar. They did make the Qatar World Cup. That was after they beat Austria first in the semi-final, and then they went on to beat Ukraine in the final game to qualify for Qatar World Cup. Euro 24 will be played in Germany. It will the opening game will be played on the 14th of June, and that game will be played in Munich in the Allianz Stadium, and the final will be played on the 14th of July. The draw of Euro 24 will be made on the 2nd of December. That will be in Hamburg. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraita. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
Thank you for staying with Africa Good Morning on Friday, the 24th of November, especially because I know a lot of you are rushing for those Black Friday sales. Let's get straight into the highlights. South Africa Parliament suspends Malema, other MPs for a month. Niger government asks court to force ECOWAS to lift coup sanctions. AI use in Mozambique jails spawns new hope in TB fight. DR Congo UN mission to withdraw peacekeepers. And Mali signs agreement with Russia to build gold refinery.
And with that, we've come to the end of our broadcast. Thank you for joining us all week and spending your morning with Africa Good Morning. From me, Glenn Orashipura.
And me, Ashwin Berry Swera Jaganaka.